most folks who've been working in or around open source have some sort of gross moment that they've encountered where, maybe something seemed really difficult or really hard to overcome, but they
Yeah.
were able to get there. So, like, can you maybe share a gross moment with someone in our audience who might be struggling and help them understand how you got out of that one?
I think the best one to talk about is actually the one that I've never talked about, and that's dealing with the death of an open source company, right? That's something I went through recently. That's actually how I ended up at G Research. So I was at this company called Weaveworks, and they, like I said, were the company that coined the term GitOps and created a tool called Flux and donated it to the CNCF. And in December of 2022, maybe, they went under. And it was devastating. Now you have this project that was primarily maintained by one company. What happens, right? I mean, it's a tale that we see all the time. The good thing about Flux is that at least within the CNCF to become like a graduated project, you have to have, maintainers across so many companies. You can't just have like all your maintainers be at one company. So the good thing is we had that, and there was, some lucky things such as like control plane picked up a lot of the engineers from Flux. They're actually running an event called FluxCon. That's for the first time. FluxCon has never existed. I don't know if you've heard of a tool called Argo. Argo is Flux's competitor. Argo has had like an ArgoCon for many years now, right? And so, like being part of Flux, it was kind of like sad just watching this competitor get, because it has so many companies backing it, right? And there's so many more people that can sponsor events for that project, and it just gets more outreach. And it kind of was sad sitting on the sidelines, I guess, for a project that didn't get the same kind of outreach besides like all of us trying to put in this effort, right? So, I actually cried when I saw the announcement for FluxCon, like genuine tears, because I was like, it just feels like a moment of kind of just, I didn't realize how sad it was watching and like a competitor have this conference year after year, and like we don't get to have those same luxuries, right? So I'm really excited about that. I think what I want to say is like open source first companies can work. I don't want it to sound like I'm sitting here being like open source first is not the way. I think we were a little bit more on the unlucky side of things, but I also want to say like when you have an open source project, don't rely on one open source first company. Don't have all your people from there because, things happen. Funding falls through. 2 years ago was really rough for funding for a lot of startups. A lot of companies started pulling funding from all of us, right? So I think having that sort of like model of having all these different companies that can kind of make sure that the project still thrives after if that happens to them, you know?